I'd like to start by telling everyone that earlier this evening I had an opportunity to speak to President Trump when he called. He asked me to tell the people of Louisiana that he said hello and that he's certainly pulling for us and he's working to ensure that we get the assistance we need. And certainly I thanked him for the call, but I also, and more importantly, thanked him for quickly signing the the emergency declaration that I had requested on July the 11th within just a few hours after submitting that request. We just concluded an 8 p.m. briefing on Tropical Storm Barry, and we were able to visit by telephone with the National Weather Service. And so I do have a little bit of good news to report tonight, here in the capital region at least. Because of a change in the rain forecast, the crest predictions for many of the rivers have actually gone down. And so, for example, we're now looking at 39 feet for the Amite River at Denham Springs based on this revised forecast from the National Weather Service. That's actually 2 feet lower than had been previously forecasted and was announced earlier today. For the Comite River at Jewel Road, similarly, the National Weather Service has revised the forecast, and they're now predicting a crest of 31.5 feet, which is 3 feet lower than the previous forecast that would have rivaled the 2016 levels. However, I should point out that even the revised crest heights qualify as major flooding and present serious threats to life and to property. So I implore you to remain alert and aware. In fact, we are seeing more storm bands begin to make their way over the state. In fact, New Orleans just experienced a very significant band that has caused a severe storm, torrential rain, and actually a tornado warning. These storms are actually expected to continue and strengthen and become more severe throughout the night. And this is going to happen across most of South Louisiana, certainly from New Orleans in the east over to Lafayette in the west. And we should never forget that this system is actually moving from south to north. And so we're going to eventually see significant rainfall in North Louisiana, particularly in northeast Louisiana. So don't let your guard down thinking the worst is behind us, because the National Weather Service is telling us when it comes to rain, the exact opposite is true. We're going to see more rain tonight than we've seen thus far today in most places in South Louisiana. I would also like to tell you that we've addressed the overtopping issues with respect to the levees in Terrebonne Parish and the Montague and DuLarge areas. There is currently no overtopping of the levees taking place in Terrebonne Parish. Additionally, we have addressed the flooding in West Point Lahash in Plaquemines Parish. However, in the Myrtle Grove area of Plaquemines Parish, the back levee is still being overtopped. However, Highway 23 remains open, and we are cautiously optimistic that it will not have to be closed. And as soon as the conditions allow, we will continue to address the back levee in the Myrtle Grove area in Plaquemines Parish. Early tomorrow morning, when it is safe to do so, our crews will, again, as I mentioned, focus their attention on the Myrtle Grove area. The overtopping there has not resulted in flooding of any of the residential areas within the levee system. I also want to tell you that DOTD is working on protecting water from intruding on Highway 90 at the Sharonton Canal at the request of St. Mary Parish. This is a preventive effort more than an emergency response so that we don't lose that road to water intrusion. And I will tell you again, this is not an issue with the levees there. We are comfortable with the assets that we have, that we're going to be able to continue supporting search and rescue evacuations should they become necessary. Now, tomorrow, weather permitting, we plan to travel to tour some of the areas that have seen the most rain and damage. We will let you know when we have more information on where we were able to go, because it's going to be dependent upon what Mother Nature will allow us to do as we travel. We plan to travel by helicopter. As I mentioned earlier today, we will have a 4 p.m. UCG meeting with the press availability to follow. So the main takeaway tonight is that this storm still has a long way to go before it leaves the state. It continues to move too slowly. And some people may think that the threat is over. Some people may be tempted to think that because it was a Category 1 when it came ashore and has already been downgraded to a tropical storm, that it does not present a threat. That is not the case. We still have a significant amount of rain coming our way, not just a significant amount, but heavier rainfall totals than we have seen already today, and that's going to happen overnight. We are expecting flash flooding across a large swath of South Louisiana. Currently, we have about 462 individuals in 27 shelters. And again, for information on shelters, we're asking folks out there to text LA Shelters to 898-211. That's LA Shelters to 898-211, or you can call 211. For more information on road closures, please visit 511la.org. That's 511la.org. So don't let your guard down. Continue to pay attention to the weather and to the local officials, and heed whatever warnings or statements that they make. So with that, we're going to stop and take any additional questions that you may have. Yes, sir.
Governor, it does seem like there's a kind of a delayed action for this rain, and it's, if you look at the cone, it says it'll be out of Louisiana and into Arkansas by Sunday night or Monday morning. I mean, what's to come? Is it the bands that are going to swing in?
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Well, if you take a look at the live radar, the rain bands still extend deep into the Gulf, and as they're coming ashore now, they seem to be more. They're producing more rain now than they did earlier in the day. We saw that just recently in New Orleans, but if you look at what they anticipate is going to happen over the next several hours, you will see that they are anticipating that those rain bands, once they come ashore, they're not going to dissipate the way they did earlier in the day. They're going to bring much more rain further north into Louisiana, including right here in the capital region, and drop a lot of rain. Every storm is different, and sometimes we want to think we know what to expect from today's storm based on what we've experienced in the past. And we continually learn that lesson, but every storm is different. And my concern is we have a lot of people going to bed tonight thinking the worst is behind them, when in fact that's going to prove not to be the case. And so we're just asking people to remain vigilant. And we, again, just got off the phone with the National Weather Service, and they assure us that we have some flash flooding coming our way across a big portion of South Louisiana. Well, I will tell you, anywhere from the New Orleans area and north of that all the way across to Lafayette. You can't predict precisely where, because you don't know exactly where the bands are going to line up, for how long they're going to dump, and where the next one is going to be behind that one. But with the total rainfall that is predicted to happen overnight, we do anticipate flash flooding, and so we're asking people to remain vigilant. And not just flash flooding to the point where life will be threatened. And so we're asking people to be cognizant of that. Yes, sir.
Governor, compared to what we went through this afternoon, we had the flooding and the tough areas like Pontchartrain and some of the others. Now bring us current. How situations in those areas as far as possibly water's going down, people dealing a little better? What's the latest you've heard?
So I've not received word that we've got a reduced storm surge yet in Lake Pontchartrain, Lake Maurepas. I don't think the winds have changed direction enough to allow that to happen. That is very important, because at some point, as we need the Amite River and the Tickfall River and so forth to drain as it's supposed to, you don't want a blocking mechanism in the lakes. So the wind direction is going to be critically important. But as for the rest of your question, we've just been told just in the last 45 minutes that we should not gauge what we anticipate to see tonight based on what we've already seen today. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to reserve this time slot to come back in and talk to people across Louisiana so that they would remain vigilant and understand that at least according to the National Weather Service, the rain that we're going to see tonight will be the worst. And as you remember, this was always going to be a rain event, not so much a wind event. And so the rain for the rain event is still in many places to come. Yes, sir.
Two things, if you get it, how many folks are in the shelter again? I didn't catch that number. And then have we been doing any search and rescue missions since last we spoke?
Yep. We have 27 shelters open and 462 individuals who are arrayed in those shelters. There have been a total, and I gave an incomplete number today because I got updated. There have been a total of 12 individuals who have been rescued today. 11 were by the Coast Guard in the Ile de Jean Charles area in southern Terrebonne Parish, outside the protected area. One individual in that area was actually rescued by first responders from Terrebonne Parish, and that was the one that I failed to mention. I don't have any reports of search and rescues having occurred outside of that area since this morning. Any other questions? Well, thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon after the 4 p.m. Unified Command Group meeting. Thank you.